Welcome back, everyone. This is the Oracle Decodes the winter solstice in Jesus. It's the sun, too. In this piece, we're going to pick up where we left off in our last couple of decodings, where we were taking a look at the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction and how that is tied into the story of the birth of Jesus at Christmas. We're also going to come full circle here to right where we began. So back to the information in our first couple of decoding videos, where we're taking a look at the story of Jesus starring Orion and the sun. Those 4 parts we're going to pull information from, as well as the Oracle Decodes the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So if you're new to finding our work and you want to make best use of this mind-blowing information that we're sharing here, I recommend at this point that you do take the time to watch the videos that we've got on our channel in order, from the earliest videos that we posted, and then watch them in order all the way through, because each piece is building upon one mind-blowing discovery after another. So if you watch them in order in this way that we've posted them, it will help grow your comprehension while learning this new way to see a lot easier and a lot quicker. So we've started out here with a screenshot from Stellarium of the winter solstice from the Northern Hemisphere viewer's perspective. So we're queued up for the date we commonly call December 21st of 2020 at noon, where the sun has reached its zenith, or its highest point in the sky for the day. As we've seen before, on the winter solstice, the sun's zenith is the lowest zenith that we see the sun at all year. As you can see, the sun is found at the cross of the north-south meridian line and the arc of the ecliptic, and the arc of the ecliptic is very low toward the horizon of the Earth, with a very flattened out arc. So what you're looking at here is both the sun and the arc of the ecliptic are the closest to the horizon of the Earth that you will find them in the sky all year. And you find the sun also in the constellation we call today Sagittarius, the Centaur. This alignment we also saw when we decoded the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse from the book of Revelation in the Bible. This is specifically the horseman bringing death, death being the season of winter, when this half-man, half-horse, a mythical creature called a centaur, Sagittarius rides. The thing to take note of for this piece is that this creature called a centaur is also an archer, just like our old friend Orion. Now, we've seen Orion in almost every story that we've been decoding, and he's known to be an archer as well. So we'll see how these 2 archers tie together here in just a few minutes. But let's start out here looking at the origin of the word solstice from Etymology Online, where it says that the word solstice goes back to what we commonly call the mid-13th century, from Old French solstice and Latin solstitium, meaning point at which the sun seems to stand still, especially the summer solstice. From sol, S-O-L, meaning the sun, and sistere, meaning to stand still, take a stand, to set, place, or cause to stand. So even though we talked about this before in our first couple of decodings, remember that the sun on the winter solstice comes to its lowest zenith that it does all year, or it's at its low point in the sky. And it stays this way at this same lowest zenith for 3 days. Or you can think of it like what becomes later is interwoven into the story of Jesus. The sun dies on the cross of the north-south meridian line and the arc of the ecliptic for 3 days before it rises again. So the language makes things a little tricky because most of us hear the sun rising and think of what we normally would, right, when it's talked about, that the sun is rising in the morning over the Earth's horizon in the east as it does every day. But this is not what's meant by the sun rising here. Here we're talking about the height or the zenith that the sun reaches in the sky. In other words, how high the sun rises in the sky. So these are 2 different ways that the sun rising again can be thought about. So we've looked at the sun dying on the cross for 3 days before rising again or being born again on the day Christians celebrate as the birth of Jesus, the Son, the S-O-N. But we're going to look at this again from a slightly different way than we have before, because I think this way actually makes it easier to see. So we're laying out here screenshots from Stellarium starting at noon on the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. And for the next 3 days at the same time, so still looking at noon, we're just taking note of where the sun is located and how the arc of the ecliptic is to the Earth's horizon. Now, although everything in the sky is rising in the east and setting in the west throughout the day and the night, like we normally see every day, the sun and the arc of the ecliptic are not incrementally moving up or down the way it also does all throughout the year. Here on the winter solstice, for the next 3 days, the sun appears to be standing still. And that's exactly where we get the word solstice from, the sun standing still. This is what's meant by it. On Christmas, the sun and the arc of the ecliptic then begin to climb to higher zeniths in the sky again, or the sun is reborn. This is best seen by comparing the winter solstice to Christmas. Take a look at where the arrow is pointing toward the gap between the arc of the ecliptic and the Earth's horizon in the east. You can tell by looking there that it's on Christmas that gap has finally increased, showing the incremental climbing upwards again to higher zeniths in the sky the sun will be doing toward the summer solstice. And this process has started all over again. It's even easier to see this when we go forward yet another week to what we commonly celebrate as New Year's, where we can see that the arc of the ecliptic and the sun over the eastern horizon of the Earth are climbing higher in the sky, and with it, a baby new year is born. So from the shortest day, or the longest night of the year with the winter solstice, to the shortest night of the year, or longest day of the year, we compare it to the summer solstice at noon. So you can see the difference in both the shapes the arc of the ecliptic is making to the Earth's horizon during these opposite solstices. Quite a difference between the zeniths that the sun is reaching in the sky, right? In the given heliocentric model of the universe that we're all taught about, this cyclical movement of the celestial sphere is told to us to be caused by this 23-degree tilt of the Earth toward or away from the sun while it's rotating. The Earth, that is. But this is not what's happening in reality. The Earth is still, and the celestial sphere is what moves. It not only spins, it also rocks back and forth like a boat between the times of the year that we call the equinoxes. And it also moves up and down, reaching its high points and low points at the solstices. And reconciling the solstices with the equinoxes are still in more decodings to come. But as you can see, it's the height the sun is reaching in the sky that we're talking about here with the solstices. All right, so let's bring things back around to the beginning again as we're ending things here. We're looking at a screenshot from Stellarium of Christmas, right before midnight, where our old friend Orion has come off the cross of the north-south meridian line in the arc of the ecliptic that he was hanging on also for the last 3 days, as we previously saw in our first decoding pieces when we looked at the story of Jesus there. And here we've got the baby Jesus now, as we've taken a look at in our last couple of decodings. In this screenshot, the baby Jesus is being delivered to Earth on Christmas in the constellation of Cetus, or the big baby in the sky to many ancients. That's going down into the western horizon of the Earth, corresponding with Jesus' birth. And Orion's bow, you can see, is pointed right at it. Right? Because we know that Orion's an archer, just like the centaur Sagittarius is an archer too. So putting it together, While Orion is at the top of the cross of the north-south meridian line in the arc of the ecliptic in the northern hemisphere on the winter solstice through Christmas at midnight, in the southern hemisphere, it's noon there. And it's at the opposite end of the cross where it's their summer solstice, where the sun is sitting in the constellation of Sagittarius. The Son of God, right? Both of them, right in the crosshairs. And both are archers. And with that, I think we'll end this one right here because I think we've hit our target head on with this arrow of truth. So until next time, be well.